Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the Ivins City Emergency Preparedness Seminar for March 2026. I am so glad you're here. I wish more of your neighbors were here. But your being here tells me something about you. The first thing I know about you is you're smart. How I know that? Because you want to learn, and you're here to learn. Smart people never stop learning. Second thing is, you want to be prepared. Now, there's a saying I heard a long time ago, and some of you may recognize it. It goes like this: if ye are prepared, ye shall not fear. That's right. Fear has probably destroyed more armies than guns and bombs. Because once the enemy gets fear in their heart, they just can't fight anymore. They lose their ability. And the same thing would happen if you go in to take a test. If you're not prepared, you don't want to be there. The last thing that I know about you is you're good people. You believe in the second commandment, and that is to love your neighbor as yourself. And that's the kind of people we need here in Ivins to help people out when they need help. My name is Bill Ingalls. My wife and I have lived here in Ivins for over 17 years, and we love it here. I'm a member of the Ivins City Emergency Preparedness Committee, been on the committee about 5 years. Mayor Hart here invited me to join the committee, and I'm grateful for that. My responsibility on the committee has been mainly the hub boxes, and I've been doing that for about the last 4 years. So, let's get started. Oh, I don't see the fire department or the police department. They usually have a representative here, but we do have Mayor Hart. And the mayor has a message for us. I was going to put him in a little bit later, but he needs to leave for Salt Lake, so I'm going to let him go ahead and speak to you now. Mayor Hart.
Hi, fellow Ivins residents. That's kind of how I pigeonhole myself these days. So I have been interested in preparedness on a community level for as long as I've been a mayor. And it's a difficult thing to try and figure out how you involve a community in something like this. But as natural disasters occurred out there and we saw the terrible circumstances, in the aftermath of hurricanes and other disasters, it just weighed on me to the point that I finally decided that somehow we would figure out how we could, as a community, respond to some serious natural disaster or other kind of event that would be disruptive in a major way. The first time I actually addressed the community was in September of 2017. I wrote a newsletter article called Ready or Not, and it came out in the newsletter just in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, and I don't know if you remember that. But that dropped 4 feet of water in Houston and along the Gulf, and there were countless thousands of people who virtually lost everything, all their possessions, and their lives were so completely disrupted. And I thought, well, we're likely not going to get 4 feet of rain here. Some days you wish you would, but that's not likely here. But there are other kinds of things that we're vulnerable to. And so that was the seed that began to germinate in my thinking that has led to our current emergency response plan. The second time I addressed that in a newsletter was in May 2018 with an article that was called Right Choice Prepared. Many of you remember probably Kent Cook. The late Kent Cook worked for the city of Ivins, but he was a very interesting fellow and deeply, deeply involved in emergency preparedness. And so he helped us as a community begin our seminars like we're having tonight. He kind of organized the first 2 or 3 of those that I remember going to many years ago. And he put together an organization called Right Choice Prepared, which we as a community brought in to help us develop our community response plan. Kind of like Ivins Inspired, working with Ivins to bring about some really worthwhile things. The next time I addressed it was in May 2019, and it was called The Next Step, and this is what Bill asked me to talk about. So I had studied different ways that cities had addressed emergency preparedness or disaster response, and discovered that there was a program that had been sort of sanctioned by the federal government, by FEMA, called RDAC, R-D-A-K, which stood for Rapid Disaster Assessment Kit, R-D-A-K, that sound right? So after Hurricane Katrina, an individual, he held a high public office in Florida, saw how unprepared everyone was for that terrible thing. Even with warnings, days, even weeks in advance, people either fail to do what's needed or believe that they're somehow going to come through it, and communities as a whole failed to prepare properly for that, and as a result, it was one of the most devastating natural disasters in the history of the country. So I thought that it was time to create a more complete organization to respond to this, and started out working with HOAs, faith-based groups, and so forth, in the belief that we could come up with something that we all could do together if something terrible happened in our community. What RDAC was, what the Rapid Disaster Assessment Kit was a tub like you'd buy at Costco, filled with binders that identified areas of the community that needed to be assessed, and a radio. And those tubs were placed in a building like this, or a school, or a church. And the concept was that when a natural disaster occurred, that the residents would come to whatever these public places were and take one of those binders and go and assess the damage or injury to residents in that area identified in the binder. Well, I thought that's a great idea, and like I say, it had kind of risen to the top of FEMA's list of good ways for communities to address this concern. So we were in a meeting just like this, and there was a lovely senior lady. She was sitting right where you are, lovely senior lady. And after I'd explained this Rapid Disaster Assessment Kit, she raised her hand and she asked this question. She said, "I live in Elfin Cove, and I couldn't make it to the church," which is where the tub was going to go in her area. And that hit me like a sledgehammer. And I went home and I thought about that, realizing that she was not necessarily the exception, that we don't have a public building easily accessible to probably the majority of our residents. And in the middle of the night, 3 to 4 a.m., that's usually when these things happen to me, I wake up and the idea for that is in my head. And so I go online. I'm an OCD personality, let's put it that way. So I dove into this project and I got online. I thought, okay, this thing's going to have a way to communicate, so radio, right? It needs to be something that somebody can get into if there's an event that occurs that requires that we get out and help each other. There needs to be some organized way to get people from the box around the community and back so that the information can be conveyed to our law enforcement and firefighters and EMTs. But over time, the idea for the box evolved, and in October of 2020, now in September of October 2020, just to set the stage, we had Heritage Days. And I had bought stuff off the internet that is essentially what we have in the box now, just sort of off-the-shelf products, and had put together a box with Wilson Jimenez's help. Wilson worked for the city up in the public works yard maintaining vehicles, but he was and is a versatile guy. He still makes the boxes for us, I think, Bill, right?
Oh, yeah.
So here I am, the city sets me up this little booth. I've got a table in my box. And people walk by and look at it and don't pay a lot of attention to it. But then here comes Bill. Bill comes up to this and starts looking at the box and then looking deeply into the box and talking to me about what it's supposed to do. And before our conversation ended, Bill was back behind the table demoing the box so that I could go out and be mayor and talk to people, and he spent the whole rest of the day doing that. So Bill has been an integral part of the box. Well, what did the box do that this RDAC program did not do? It allowed us to place a means of communication and a means of distribution of information so that an assessment could take place virtually within a few hundred feet of most of the residents, most of the homes in Ivins. And Bill's going to talk about what the box is and what it does in detail. But ever since then, we have been advancing this program to the point now that the City Council approved an addition to our emergency plan that is administered by our public safety departments, that ensures that this program is going to be perpetuated, that the boxes will be maintained, that new boxes will be placed in areas as we continue to grow. So this is our plan. This is the way we as a community are going to be able to respond to a natural or other kind of disaster. So if you go way back to where my interest first began, it happened to be that in my particular church that there was a movement sort of afoot that we prepare our congregation to deal with something. Then I heard about many other different types of organizations who were doing or had done similar kinds of things. But how that doesn't work for an entire community, right? Because we're a diverse group of people. We have different interests. We participate in different things. And so at the base of all of our thinking on this, it was how can we bring our community together to help one another through a crisis. And as Bill continues, I think you'll come to understand how this device plays a part in that, but it really boils down to giving a dang. It boils down to, if something terrible happened, am I willing to help? And we see evidence of that all the time, right? You turn on the television after a disaster, and what has CNN got a cameraman taking pictures of? It's the guy that's trying to lift a piece of concrete off an area trying to find survivors. So I hope you'll pay attention to this, because every year you'll see us have a drill using the box, and I hope that you and hopefully your neighbors as well will become familiar with this, understand how it works and what you might be able to do if that kind of an event, God forbid, ever takes place. Thank you very much. It's good to see you all again. I apologize, but if you don't mind, I'm going to jump out the back door and hit the road.
Don't jump. Have a safe trip, Mayor. He has to go to Salt Lake. That's where he had to. I was going to put him a little bit later, but decided that it'd be best to let him go early because that's a long drive and night is coming on. Let's begin with a little discussion about what is a disaster and what is the difference between a disaster and an emergency. So, to you, would someone like to talk to that subject? What's the difference? Can you give me an example of a disaster or an emergency? Come on, somebody speak up.
An emergency could be an individual event for a family, not widespread, but a disaster would be like an MCI where services are overwhelmed.
Excellent, thank you very much. So, would a hurricane in Louisiana be considered a disaster? Absolutely. What about a forest fire in California? Yes. What about a car accident over here on Main Street? No. Yeah, it's a disaster for that person, but it only affects one. So what kind of a disaster would likely hit Ivins that would affect the entire city, including Cayena? Earthquake, exactly. That's right. Well, what's the difference between a fire, like a wildfire, and an earthquake? Something that an earthquake is unique in.
That's a large area all at once.
Yeah. Does it give any warning?
No.
No warning. Would you have warning if there was a fire? Yeah. Usually, you might lose your home, but you probably wouldn't lose your life because there'd be enough time to evacuate. The same applies to a flood. Now, if you live along a wash or a riverbank, yeah, there's a good chance that your home's going to be flooded. But not the entire city. We don't live on the coast. We're not subject to a tsunami. I don't think we'd ever have one here. So, okay, now that we've got that established, so what happens when there is a major disaster? When you have any kind of an emergency, what do?
Panic.
Okay, you panic. Hunker down. Is there something that you might pick up and dial a certain number? 911. Why? You need help. Exactly. So what happens if we have a major earthquake? And let's just talk about earthquakes for a minute, because I used to live in California, and they're famous for earthquakes. Back on October 17, 1989, at 5:04 p.m., there was an earthquake called the Loma Prieta earthquake. It was 10 miles northeast of Santa Cruz, California. If you're familiar with California, Santa Cruz is quite a tourist attraction right on the coast. 60 miles southwest of Livermore, that's where I used to live, and 65 plus miles south of Oakland and San Francisco. The magnitude of that earthquake was 6.9, 12 miles deep on the San Andreas Fault. It took down a double-decker concrete, steel-reinforced freeway, crushing people in their cars. It took down a section of the Bay Bridge. It started fires in San Francisco.
Martin lived there then.
I live in San Jose.
Oh, yeah, you know about it.
I remember very well.
I was in San Leandro, I remember it well.
Did you know there were 63 people killed in that earthquake?
One of my friends was a firefighter, yes.
And there was 3,757 injuries involved. So, do we have something like the San Andreas Fault here in this area? Yes, we do. We have two faults. One is called the Hurricane Fault, and that one, according to the NNet, and I looked that up yesterday morning, it's capable of a 6.5 or greater. That's almost as strong as the one in California, the Loma Prieta. The Washington fault is capable of a 7.0 or greater. Now, how is that going to affect you and your home? With an earthquake, it depends on the location along the fault. It depends on the magnitude of the quake. It depends on the depth of the quake. The one in California was, let's see, I've got some notes here somewhere if I can find it, 12 miles deep. It depends on the direction of the movement of the earth. It depends on the soil and ground between the earthquake epicenter and your home. It depends on the ground immediately under your home. It depends on when your home was built. Older homes were not built to the same standards they are today. But most of the homes here in Ivins are fairly new, so they are built to higher standards. The chances of damage, and I am no expert, but I would say probably light to moderate. What we might experience is maybe tiles falling off of these tile roofs. We might have a big decoration, like a big flower vase that's up on a shelf that falls over. Might have a cabinet tip over or a bookcase. Elderly people, when something happens that shakes them a little bit, they lose their balance. We live over in a place called Padre Lakes, and I have seen a number of people over the years that we've lived there fall. I think one lady spent 2 days laying on her kitchen floor waiting for somebody to find her. Because the homes are fairly well insulated, and she didn't have a strong voice, people, even if they walked by, they couldn't hear her. And the lady right behind us, one morning, it was, I think it was in the spring of the year, because we were sitting at the breakfast table and we had the patio door open, and we heard somebody calling, Ingalls, Ingalls. I thought, oh, what is that? Who is that? And I went outside, looked over the fence. My next door neighbor had fallen to the ground, couldn't get up. So we had to go help her up. So this is something that can really happen. Now sometimes when people fall, they hit something, they may injure themselves, they may break a bone, all kinds of things can happen. I don't think we would have any major injuries such as death unless somebody had a heart attack just from the fact that there was an earthquake. So we already talked about how to get help. Now, suppose you call for help, what are you likely to get if you dial 911? A busy signal, that's right. We don't have hundreds of 911 operators that are hired to man their stations 24/7, 365. We couldn't afford it, and you wouldn't want to pay for the taxes to make that happen. We do have enough to handle day-to-day injuries with a little leftover. If you could get through, and assuming that you could at all, your chances of being put on the bottom of the list because you're in Ivins, and wherever that epicenter is, if it's over in Hurricane or over in the Virgin or a little further north, all our services, police, fire, ambulance, they're going to be helping out where they're needed most. And they will come and help you as soon as they can. But that might be hours or maybe half a day or more before they get a chance to get everything cleared up and to come help you. So the mayor already told you how he came up with this. This is the Ivins City Rapid Response Plan to a Disaster. I'm going to get out my teleprompter here because I don't want to forget anything. All right. There are 91 disaster hub box placed throughout the city in Cayena. There's a map up here that was just printed yesterday that shows where those are located. So after the meeting is over, if you want to come up, see if you can find where you live, and you can see where the closest hub box is to your home. There's going to be more put up in the near future. As we have more subdivisions go in, more homes, we're going to have to put up more boxes because just a few people can't handle hundreds of homes. When I set this up, I set it up as a walking route. You could leave your home, go to the hub box, and then from there you could walk to a section of your neighborhood that's been laid out and check on your neighbors, come back to the hub box and report in. So it's real easy. Now, if you live out in Canada, you may have to take a golf cart, a motorcycle, ATV, whatever you can get, because it's a long ways between houses out there. All right, let's go to the hub box and see what's in it. Is this working? Ooh, it's good. No. Inside the hub box, we have a blue clipboard. This blue clipboard is for the first person to arrive. You do not have to have any previous experience. You don't have to be, I don't know, a firefighter or a former police officer or whatever. Just an average citizen. If you can read and follow directions, you can be what is called the zone captain. First to arrive is the zone captain. Then there will be other clipboards. In this case, we only have one tonight, but there can be as many as 9 red clipboards. And these will be for 9 blocks. And a block is about anywhere from about 8 to 14 homes to check on. Depends on the density of their neighborhood. If it's a big apartment house like over here at the Rocky Vista University, one block is 1 floor or 1 building. We have on the doorway, we have a walkie-talkie radio. This is already set to a particular channel depending on which zone you live in. And the reason we do that is because we don't want 2 zones to be communicating over the top of each other. Or 2 areas, I should say, 2 areas. So that those in one zone or in one area have the same channel. Those in a different area nearby have a different channel.
Is the channel written in there?
Yes. It isn't on this one because we haven't deployed this box.
But in case somebody accidentally changed channel.
We've got it locked.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, there's an electronic lock on the box, on the radio rather, and you'll see a little padlock on the screen when you turn it on.
But you can unlock that.
You can unlock it, yeah, if you know how to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good.
I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, that's good too. It also has a night light. Since we cannot schedule an earthquake to fit our convenience, it might happen in the middle of the night. And if it does, you're going to need some light. Now, this isn't the best light in the world. It only stays on for about 20 to 30 seconds. And then you got to wave your hand over it before it comes on again. So, might be a good idea if you come to the box, bring your own flashlight. Just saying.
We've all got cell phones.
That cell phone works great, yeah. In fact, that might be the only thing it's good for when we have a disaster, because it may not work.
The light will work.
Okay, some boxes do have an alarm. We put the alarm in, first of all, there's a $1,000 fine for damaging the box, stealing the radio or whatever. Ooh, the light works. Yeah. And the radio's worth probably about $30, so you're not making a profit by stealing a radio if you get caught. We also put it in there for children. Children are naturally curious, and they open the box up. Oh, what's those nice colored clipboards in there? They pull them out, and they get bored, so they throw in the bushes. So we put the alarms in. They're just a car alarm. It's made to scare them off. We just don't want to mess with things like that. So that's the only reason we have those. All right, I think that is about it. Let me put this back in the box.
Bill,
Yes,
explain to them the duration of that alarm, because it doesn't stay continuous.
How long does the alarm go?
okay, the alarm stays on, once you open the door and you trigger this switch, it stays on for 10 seconds. But it's a very annoying 10 seconds. So if you look at in the box here, there's a black box on the side. It has a toggle switch. Just flick the toggle switch down, it turns the alarm off. So that makes it easy.
Bill, is there a identification on the side of the box to let someone know what box they're calling from?
Yes, there is. All the boxes that have been deployed throughout the city have as a zone identification, and it'll be on both sides down at the bottom. So that's how we know where you're at. All right. Now,
How do you
yes.
maintain the battery systems in the radio and the alarm and the light?
We have a bunch of volunteers that go out, and we've been doing it every 2-3 years. Sometimes the batteries hold up. Most of the time they don't. We have some pretty severe weather here, especially summers, and it's an oven in there. And so the city has gone to replacing the batteries every year. So every year they get new batteries. We were going to use some of these rechargeables, but they're more expensive. They're a pain to take the batteries out, go charge them, put them back. So we're just going with regular alkaline batteries like your Duracells, or in this case, we bought some from Amazon because we can get a lot better price by buying 100 at a time.
So when I pick up that radio and speak into it, who do I talk to? Who's on the other end?
That's a good question. In fact, we're going to do that. I would like to have a volunteer come up and be the first to arrive. Would you like to be that volunteer?
Well, that wasn't top of my priority, but I'll
Thank you. What is your name?
Glenn Ravenberg.
Glenn Ravenberg.
So, Glenn, what do you do first when you come to the box?
I guess you open it up.
That's a good idea. You know, we've had people stand in front of that box waiting for the box to tell them what to do, and it didn't. And so they just stood there till finally they got bored and went home. Okay, now what do?
Well, I guess I pick up the radio, or do I read instructions first? My first responsibility to pick up the radio.
You know the old saying, if all else fails, read the directions?
Yeah, but I never, my wife says I never follow instructions.
Well, do it this time.
Okay. Okay, let's see.
Pick it up. It won't bite. Okay, would you mind reading that out loud? And I may stop you to answer some questions.
Okay, first to arrive instructions. Read and follow instructions carefully. As the first to arrive, you are now the zone captain. Your assignment is to remain at or near the hub box until all clipboards have been distributed, returned, and any injuries or damages have been radioed in to the area emergency communication operator.
Great. So, question, why do we want you to remain at the hub box? Can you think of a reason?
So that somebody looking for me knows where to look.
The first to arrive is a zone captain. He is one of the strongest links in the chain of communication. If he just walks off, who's going to take care of the box? Somebody has to be there and wait till all to give out the clipboards and wait till they get back and then call the information in. Otherwise, it never gets called in. So, if you have to leave, what would you do?
I hope someone else shows up.
You'd hope somebody else shows up. We hope lots of people show up. Okay, what's the next instruction?
It says if you're unable to remain at your post, please find someone to replace you. Hand out a red clipboard to each pair of volunteers as they arrive. Volunteers go out in pairs for safety. Have them read and follow the instructions on the back of the red clipboard before leaving.
Why do we send them out in pairs, not just individually? One person would probably do the job, but why go out in pairs? Anybody in the audience want to try and answer that?
Safety.
Safety? What happens if there's an aftershock and you slip and fall and break your ankle and you're by yourself? You need somebody there to help you. You need a rescuer to help you. What happens if you go to a residence and you take the information down, but you make a mistake? The chances are, if somebody's with you, they can catch that mistake before it happens. So it doesn't continue on down the line. So it's very important that you go out in pairs. Okay, next.
Let's see. Okay. You may ask returning volunteers to assess additional blocks or assist as needed.
What happens if we need, let's say, 12 volunteers because we have 6 clipboards and only 6 people show up? It means somebody's going to have to pick up the slack. So it's possible that after you finish your first block, you may be asked to go back and do another one. Hopefully, we'll have enough people show up that won't happen.
When a completed red clipboard is returned, report to the AECO only those items that include injury or damage. Use plain language to describe details regarding each checked box.
Okay. What is AECO? It's an area emergency communications operator. It's actually going to be a ham operator, because ham operators are familiar with radios. They know how to relay information, how to take information down. We don't quite have enough at this time. We hope to get more. But it needs to be somebody that's comfortable talking on the radio so that they can communicate that information that is vital to each of you so that it gets to the proper place so help can be sent to your aid. Yes.
Will we be advised of who those ham operators are and where they're located? Because right now we're operating, let's say the emergency event happened tomorrow. We're still operating under the old system where some of us have the radios that are not communicating as well as we would like them to. But if we...
the city of Ivins has put in a request that no earthquakes happen until we get everything straightened out. But yes.
That way, if we knew where those ham operators were located, if I had to, I'd get on the bike and go down and report to them directly.
The trouble with that, David, is that we don't know when an earthquake will happen.
Exactly.
They could be at work, they could be on vacation, they could be sick, they could be taking care of their own family. So we just don't know how many we're going to have at one time. That's why we need more. If we have more than we need, we'll usually have enough to cover all the bases. That answer your question? And we're going to be switching over things as soon as David gets back.
Question.
Yes.
Does the city provide those ham radios, like, for somebody that knows how to use one but does not have one?
They would. Yeah, if you have as all you actually need is a GMRS license. If you've got a regular ham license, like a text license or a general license, yes, the city will provide you with a radio. Okay, next one.
Turn on the radio and set the volume. Listen to see if other persons are already using the channel. If the channel is clear, contact the AECO by pressing the push to talk switch on the side of the radio. Identify yourself and your zone ID on the side of the hub box, then release the button to listen for a reply. When the AECO replies, give them your report. If you do not get a reply, wait a few minutes and try again. Keep trying until all injuries and damage information has been reported to the AECO. After giving the information to the AECO, put a check mark after the address on that injury and damage assessment form. Place each.
That's fine. Okay, let me see if I can address all the different things in here. Okay, the switch is on the side of the radio. And hold it something like this, hold it something like this, hold it up close to your mouth, push the button and speak into the radio. When you're done speaking, don't forget to release the talk button, otherwise the person responding, you can't hear them.
Mention how you turn it on.
There's a little knob on the top.
It's like the volume switch,
Yeah.
right? You turn it on from off.
Yeah,
Turn it up enough so there is a volume.
yes. Be sure to turn it up enough.
Yeah, if you just turn it one quick, it's not gonna move.
Right, you have to turn the volume up, and then you can adjust it down if it's too loud. All right, what else do we have here? We have, why do we wait for someone to respond? The AECOs may be taking care of maybe 8 different zones, which means they've got to talk to 8 different people. And they may be in the process of speaking to one of those zones and trying to write the information down, get it recorded so they can forward it on. So this is why you need to wait just a few minutes to see if anybody's already talking on that channel. When you feel it is clear, then go ahead and speak, and the AACO should respond. Yes, one more question.
One more comment. Make sure when you push the talk, push the talk button, wait 1 second before starting to talk. Because it takes a little bit of time for things to stabilize. They'll lose the first thing you said.
That's a good point. It takes a certain amount of time for the radio to switch from transmit to receive and receive to transmit. And particularly if you're a ham operator, you know, if you're talking through a repeater, you have to wait for the repeater to switch over. So that's one of the things that you have to consider. But just be patient, don't be in a hurry. Okay, the reason for the check mark after the address, why do we do that? Anybody have an idea?
So we don't waste time checking it twice.
Exactly. Once you check it off, you know it's done, and you can move on to the next one. All right, last couple of instructions there.
Place each return clipboard with the injury and damage assessment forms back in the hub box. Print your name, address, and phone number on the form provided on the blue clipboard in case we need to contact you for further information. After all clipboards are returned to your zone, and your zone is stabilized, turn off the radio, turn on the alarm, and close the box.
Okay, it's very important to turn the radio off. We've had a number of cases where after we've done one of our drills, somebody forgot to turn the radio off. We go there and the battery's dead. The alarm, if you want to turn it on, fine. If you don't worry about it. We have never had a case where somebody's tried to steal something out of the box. We did have one incident where 2 men went to one of these boxes, took it off the post it was fastened to, was putting it in their truck and driving away with it, when a crossing guard saw them, took a picture of them and their truck and reported it to the city. Guess who that person was? It was me and Wilson. Yeah. It does say surveillance on the box, so what happened? We were taking the box down because it only served, oh sir, you're not done yet. Please come back. You're not done. No, you haven't got somebody to replace you, so come on back up here. Anyway, to finish my story, when I went to the city hall later on that day, they said, one of your hub boxes has been stolen. I said, yeah, I know, I did it. So, Anyway, you're the zone captain, so stick around. Now I need 2 more volunteers. Well, don't rush,
I'll be a volunteer.
okay? Hmm?
Can I volunteer? I'm doing it.
You're doing that.
Okay.
1 more. How many do we have to have? Come on up.
Way to go.
Very good. What's your name?
Jericho?
Jericho.
Okay, Jericho.
David.
David, Jericho, welcome. This is Glenn. Glenn is your zone captain. So zone captain, these 2 volunteers just showed up. What do you do next?
Give them a red clipboard. You look like you're in charge.
Oh, okay. So, you a good reader? Good. Would you take the mic and read the instructions, because you're not supposed to leave the box. Remember, you're supposed to tell them, don't leave until you've read the instructions.
Okay.
So, turn it over.
Using the injury and damage assessment form for each assigned address, verify that the address on the form and the property address are the same. Do not enter property marked no trespassing or beware of dog. Access property damage from the outside. Do not enter or approach any structure that is or appears to be unsafe.
Okay, hold on for just a second. Just keep that clipboard. Okay, the first thing, what do you do before you even leave?
Verify that the address on the form and the property address are the same.
Okay, why is that important?
The one report the wrong place.
Exactly right. We don't want a fire engine and an ambulance showing up at a house where there's nothing wrong, when 2 doors down, somebody's injured and is in desperate need of help. So it's important to verify that you're at the home that that's on the assessment form, the address.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, I want to make sure, so on those red forms, will it have a pre-populated address for every house
Yes.
in that zone?
And there's over 5,000, and I wrote every one of them.
Wow.
Every one of them on a map. We don't have maps tonight because we didn't know how to map the front seats here.
Okay, great. That's really good because maybe someone who's new to the area, who isn't familiar with the neighbors, et cetera, will have that.
Right. Thank you for asking that. Yeah.
The person asking the question use a microphone or have you read the
Yeah, we got a microphone over there.
I'll go around with the microphone. Then first.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, does it come with a pencil or a pen?
Yes. Yeah, it comes with a pencil. We didn't put pens because the heat would kill them. So we put in mechanical pencils.
Read the next line.
Yep, go ahead, thanks.
Do not enter property marked no trespassing or beware of dog.
Okay, why do we want you not to enter homes where there's those signs?
I don't want to get bit.
You don't want to get bit.
One of the laws shot.
You want to get shot.
Yeah, if you enter on property that says no trespassing,
Mhm.
you could be charged with trespassing and find yourself in serious trouble. We don't want that.
Could you call it into them? I mean,
Can you stop, can you, from the curb, call in and say, is everybody okay?
What do you think? Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
That's an excellent idea. Thank you. Okay, go on.
Assess property damage from the outside. Do not enter or approach any structure that is or appears to be unsafe.
If the house looks like it's falling in, would you want to go inside? No. Go on.
If it is safe, knock on the door and announce your purpose.
Okay, why would you knock on the door instead of ring the doorbell?
Doorbell probably doesn't work.
Electricity might be out, bell might not be working.
Power outage.
Worse than that.
Scares the
Most
crap out of people.
Gas
doorbells
leak.
have an electronic kind of a buzzer that's on the inside of the house. If there's a broken gas line and you push that doorbell and it creates a spark, guess what happens next? Yeah. You go boom.
Toothpicks.
Yeah. Come on.
Listen for a response. Do not enter the house to search for occupants.
Okay. don't break down the door. Knock heavily and listen. There may be somebody that's inside that's injured, that can't speak very well. Maybe they have a bookcase or something fall on their chest and they can't get enough air in to speak out. So listen. Just do that for a few seconds. See if anybody responds. Maybe nobody's home. Okay, go on.
Mark the boxes where there is personal injury, property damage, or you received no response.
Come on.
Okay, mark the top box. Put detailed notes at the bottom.
Okay. Why is it important to put notes at the bottom?
It would be for the real professionals, when they come in, they'll know what's happening as they enter in, they'll know what's happening ahead of time. So they'll be prepared with the proper equipment.
Okay, good. If you go to a house and you say, is anybody injured? And they say yes, and you turn around and leave, what's that going to tell the people at the emergency operations center? What's wrong? They know somebody's injured. They don't know whether it's minor, major, what kind of injury it is. How are they going to help you? You don't have to write a storybook for it, but just put enough information in that note section, because we can't cover every possible situation on each line. There's just not enough room. So put the major item that's the problem, and then put any notes you have at the bottom. Okay.
Do not stop at this point to administer first aid, but inform the occupants that others will be sent to their aid as soon as possible.
Great. Why wouldn't you stop to help somebody?
You're not moving on to the next person.
That's right.
But that's another good reason for having pairs, because one could stay and stabilize while the other person moves on.
Yeah. It could be that somebody just needs some minor help. Maybe the front door is unlocked, it's daytime, they've fallen, and all they need is somebody to help them up. You might want to just do that. It doesn't take more than a couple of minutes. But don't spend a lot of time treating somebody, if you're not, especially if you're not a doctor. Move on to the next, because the next house may have somebody that is seriously injured. So keep moving. All right, anything else?
Repeat this process for each address on your assigned block.
Okay, great. Good job. Yeah, hang on to that, because you got a job to do. What do you do next?
Write your name.
You go to the addresses. Do you have addresses on the front?
174 First Avenue.
Okay. So, you two want to get together? Because you're going out and assess those addresses. Whoever wants to be the person writing, the other person asks the questions. It's all fictitious.
So we're just going to these residences right here? Is that
It's
what
the
we're
same
doing?
equipment.
Is that one of the addresses you have right there?
Is that one of your addresses?
Yes.
What do you do?
Knock on the door.
Who is it?
So who are you? What are you doing there?
Who knows? Yes.
What would you do if you were in your neighborhood? What would you say?
We're checking to see if you are injured or if there's property damage.
That's
Good.
awesome.
And why are you doing that? What gives you any kind of authority to go and knock on somebody's door and ask if they're injured? Because you are
Volunteer.
you're a volunteer for the city of Ivins.
Yeah.
They need to know that, so you're not just somebody trying to sneak into their house. You should know that. You used to be a police officer. Okay?
Okay, so I say, what do you want? You say,
We're trying to assess property damage or injured people, and I am a volunteer from Ivins.
oh, that's great, thank you. We're a little shaken up, but we're okay. Thanks for checking on us.
So what do you do?
I wouldn't check injured or property damage.
Find it on the list there.
That address. Keep your address up. Okay, there we go. He said to find it on the list, but Bill,
It's not on the list, so.
where's the marked addresses? This is my first opportunity to look at. Oh, right here. Okay.
It's hidden right at the top.
Okay, so we've gone through the checklist for that address.
Okay. Injuries?
No injuries.
That's good. Check that box and move on to the next.
Okay,
What's the next address?
find the next one. 180. Oh, 180 is right close.
No. That's hers.
I'm waiting for the
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Volunteers from the city of Ivins to check on your well-being.
Oh. Well, apparently we've got an injury here. My elderly mother-in-law lost her balance and fell and hit her head, and I suspect needed cranial hemorrhage.
Nobody can hear him.
My elderly mother-in-law lost her balance. She fell, hit her head pretty hard, and I suspect an intracranial hemorrhage.
Do you see cranial hemorrhage?
She's bleeding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay, we got that one marked.
Normally, when you go to a home, you'd go through the whole list. Because sometimes people are so upset from having just experienced an earthquake, they may forget to tell you, oh, by the way, I have a gas leak.
It's no gas, yeah.
Yes, question.
Yes. Have you set a protocol in place where the CERT or someone goes around to check these boxes with the forms?
Before or after the emergency?
Well, as it's going on.
Oh.
Because, yeah, or, yeah.
When this started, nobody knew what they were doing. We're learning all the time. We're trying to get better, and it is a lot better today than it was before. If you have any suggestions, my card's over there on the table or over there. Contact me and give me some suggestions, because I can bring it up at the next emergency preparedness meeting. And we do need to have some kind of protocol to go through these things. We just haven't worked it out yet. Thank you.
Bill, the one question I would have at this point, how many houses is each person going to go see? Typically, I mean, what would be in the box typically for the person?
Yeah.
Okay. If we have a serious injury at the second person we stop at, to me, that's quite a delay before we're notifying, the
So what
city
would you
that we
ask the
have a
person?
major injury at this address.
What would you ask the person? Does this person need immediate help, emergency help? Or
I think so.
Or can you stabilize the person yourself?
Mhm.
Yeah. If I say yes, we need immediate help, then we should probably go back and wait.
Yes.
If you do that, you're gonna waste a lot of time.
Well, time is of the essence to this part.
It's a tough call.
Okay.
Yeah.
To answer that question in real time, even if he goes back and they report it in, and it goes to the area emergency communications center, and the information is triaged to who needs help first, it's gonna be hours before help arrives.
So
So if you could stabilize the situation, do it.
So the most important thing is to finish the houses.
I need help as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And then go on to the next one.
All
You're
right.
triaging, you're not the,
Yeah, good point. Because you don't know that
you're not treating.
the next house might have somebody in worse shape.
Yeah,
Right.
So then you'll waste time getting there. Okay,
We're moving
that makes
fast.
sense.
Good, thank
So
you.
all we're doing is gathering information.
Yes.
Yeah.
The quicker we gather it, the better we can make decisions later.
Right.
I think that's excellent. We wasted enough time on this address. Let's move on.
I like to keep you talking here for a while.
All right.
Okay. Got that one. All right. 186. Or what?
Knock, knock, knock.
Do we have 186 there?
189.
Wrong address.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Wrong address. Hope you don't have any injuries.
I want you to notice something. What's the last digit of your address?
4.
What's yours?
180.
Mhm.
A 0, and that's a 6. What's the last digit on yours?
9.
Alongside the street.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
No, it is possible that when I made up these forms, that I goofed and put down the wrong address. So what you need to do in this case is change the address on that form
Just
to
mark it.
confirm with the address that's on. it's
So
on-
write 180 there,
So this is 186.
or 186, sorry, yes.
So.
Let's check
hopefully
with-
it won't happen. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, we're knocking on the door again.
Hey, who is it?
We are a volunteer from Ivins checking to see if someone is seriously harmed or if there is damage to property.
Well, the power's out. It looks like everything is wrong here,
Just the power
as
situation.
far as I can tell so far.
Okay. Everything stable other than that?
It appears so.
Okay, good.
Hey, what do you do now?
Report,
Volunteers?
report back.
Your
Okay.
report,
Okay.
Captain? What are you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna get the radio, and I'm gonna call the magic Carrie at the end of the line.
Before you do that, what might be a more important thing to
Get a verbal confirmation of what they learned.
do? Well, find out which is the most serious to report. You don't need to report that there's no damage,
Okay,
injury.
And the
okay.
tower
Power
is
outage
critical.
may just be that it
Mhm.
is home alone. So you wanna go through and pick out the most important first.
Okay.
Right, our report is we have one serious injury at,
And power out. Okay. Okay,
You turn on.
this is the coordinator at box number blank. And we have
Who are you talking to?
whoever answers the radio.
Gotta turn off.
Well, you gotta turn it on first.
Well, yeah, no, I assumed that was happening anyway. Okay.
It doesn't turn itself on.
Oh,
okay,
Just the volume up so you can hear.
So establish
Hold the mic
contact.
about here. You can hold this thing up.
okay, this is the coordinator in area 1, 2, 3, oh, XXX1. I have a serious injury at 180 First Avenue.
See if you get a response. You may be just talking to the air.
Well, I heard him through my hearing aid.
Did you release the button? Okay.
Yeah.
You wanna try that again?
Okay, this is the coordinator at XXX1 reporting injuries.
Hello, Box XXX1. Could you give me your name again, please?
Name is Glenn Ravenberg.
Thank you, Rand. My name is David. I'm your area command communications operator. Go ahead and give me your report, starting with the most critical item first.
Did everybody hear this?
Yes.
Most critical
Okay.
item first.
I have a serious injury to a person at 180 First Avenue.
Thank you, Rand. I have 180 First Avenue. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Do you know if the injured person is in need of an ambulance?
That information is not on the form, but the volunteer that was there says yes. That's a head injury with bleeding.
and the neck, yes.
You told me to write this down.
Do they think the injured person needs immediate attention, or if they need to return to the address to determine the needs?
No, you're okay.
See, I'm a bad guy for this because I have a hard time understanding because my hearing is not good.
You're okay.
Okay. Okay, and that's the only injury or property damage that we have, except we have a power outage at address 186 First Avenue.
Okay, I'll
recommending an ambulance.
Thanks for doing it. Stand by. Let me report that. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so we now have to report the electrical at 181st Avenue. I'll report that as well. Stand by.
Each
Okay,
area.
thank you for that. Is there anything else?
That's all the information I have at this point.
Okay, thanks for being the captain of the hub box this evening. We will go ahead and continue to monitor this channel for any other developments. Thank you.
Great.
Good job.
Okay, now you've seen how it could be done. Yes, we can improve. But you got to remember, we're volunteers. And the people that come to the hub box may never have done this before. And they're going to be nervous, and they're going to be a little scared because, well, this is a serious situation and I haven't done it. So be patient with people. We will get better as time goes on. Yes.
I think well, one of the things you should put on the instructions is take a deep breath, take care of yourself.
That's a great idea, except there's only so much room on the back of those clipboards. And we have a question in the back. Yes, we have one in the front.
Well, I just wanted to say something in answering your question a little more from the perspective of the CERT volunteers. And one of the great things about CERT is we're trained, first of all, to take care of our own residents, our own family, and then we can go out and help. The other thing I wanted to mention, the protocols that this system is really following is MCI, Mass Casualty Incidents protocols, where the first person on scene is incident site commander. That's basically what you're seeing at the box. That person can be replaced by someone with a more experience or higher level. So hopefully there's enough CERT people trained eventually, and I'm wink, wink, nudge, nudge out there to everybody, because it's really helpful.
We're looking for volunteers.
Yeah, because we practice this stuff and we're more used to it. We're ham radio operators, some of us are. We've done practice with the box. So let's say you're the first one at the box, and yeah, it's overwhelming, it's stressful and this and that and the other, but a CERT person walks up, it's perfectly fine to hand that radio over to a CERT person and take a different role that you're more comfortable with. That's how the MCI protocols work. So to answer your question, yes, it'd be great to have a protocol of who's going to show up where if we have enough CERT trained volunteers to do it.
Great, thank you, Mike. I think there was a question in the back. And then don't anybody leave. We've got gifts for you.
My question is about Utah law of liability for helping or not helping a victim.
As I understand it, because we are volunteers and because this is an emergency, we are protected under Good Samaritan law. Okay? Yes.
Is there a written concept of operations or ConOps, like on the Ivins website, we can go and read just to review or to make comments?
There is a little brochure that was written about a year ago. It's somewhat outdated, but there's enough information to give you a basic understanding. And that brings us to the gifts I have for you. If you want to take one of those brochures, there's some on this table, there's some on that table. There's also a copy of the first to arrive instructions. The volunteer instruction, those are on the red clipboards, and then also the assessment form so you can see exactly what it looks like. Please take one of each. Now, for the free gifts.
I love this thing.
Yes. I made up a number of these. There's some on both tables. If you're in a disaster and you're okay and your house is not damaged, we just would appreciate it if you put this on your garage door. If you have a metal garage door, it's laminated, it's got magnets on the back. Just stick it up there so the volunteers, when they walk by your house, they can see that and move on. Yes?
Bill, I thought I saw in one of the hub boxes a marker or something so that, just like
There was one.
arena where you would put an X or some type of marking.
That is part of CERT training, but because the people that are going to be coming to the box, most of them won't do that, so hopefully the person that put it there is going to be in charge of the box and he'll know what to do with it. Great. So help yourself to this. Now,
Right. Can I just make a quick comment?
Sure.
First, thank you, Bill, for all that you do for our community to
You're
keep
welcome.
us safe. And this was such a great demonstration to see how this works. And I can think of me in panic mode and how much longer it would take me to do that. So this is why we need people to show up. And so everybody here, if we can all encourage our neighbors to come out and be part of this, whether it's, I don't know, doing a social hour or saying, hey, we're all gonna meet an hour before and then go learn about the boxes. The key is we don't want 2 people doing this, we want 10 people doing it. So that, I mean, now that I see that, how many addresses you have to go to and potentially how long it could take if somebody's desperate and scared and they want you to stay, that means you're delayed to go to the next house. So I don't know how we can do that, but I think we can all start that here by encouraging the people in our circle, in our neighborhoods to show up and learn how to use this and hope we never have to do it efficiently.
excellent suggestion.
Thank you for what you
Another
do.
comment over here.
We held one of our HOA meetings at the box. That's a good idea. So I want to echo Tiffany's comments. Thank you very much. I've showed up to 2 of these events at the box. I've been the only one to show up, and it's, you know, that's sad. When is the next one that we could, I know you advertise it with signs and it's maybe in Ivins inspired, we can put it, but when is the next date?
April 16th.
April 16th, okay.
And I think it'll be at 6 p.m. April 16th is a great shakeout for Utah, and we're going to do another test that evening at 6. If you have any suggestions of how to make this more enjoyable, instead of just showing up in the box and having somebody count how many heads showed up, and you try to rate it in and nobody answers, give us some suggestions. We need help. I wish we could have had this room filled tonight. It would have been so much better. So share this information with your neighbor. Now, a couple more things. Let me finish this and then we'll go to any questions you have left, since I got some more stuff to give you. Okay, some people can't volunteer at the hub box if there's a disaster. They're just physically not able. That doesn't mean you can't help. You can talk to your neighbor. You can give them a brochure. Tell them what you learned at this meeting tonight. Anything you do is a help. If you want to volunteer, if you're home and you're physically able, I want to give you a vest. There are vests on both tables. Help yourself to a safety vest. This is especially important if you go out at night. We don't want somebody run over. So please help yourself to that. If there's another person in your family that's not here tonight that will probably be helping you, take one for them too. I've got over 50 of them here, so I think we've got enough to cover for everyone here. And up here is a brand new map that was just printed yesterday, and it's going to be on the city website. I don't think it's on yet, but you go to the city website under emergency preparedness. That's in the upper right-hand corner, and you scroll down to the map, locate where you live, and it'll show you what zone you're in, and it'll show you where your hub box is. Now, questions again. Who's got a question?
This upcoming demonstration on the 16th, where will that be?
It will be at your hub box.
So there will be one at each demonstration?
The Lord willing and people show up.
So
So it's not really a demonstration,
No.
it's a rehearsal, you might say.
It's actually going through it.
If we could get enough people to come out, yes, it would be very good. But unfortunately, we've had a number of these tests where we really didn't do anything, and people just say, well, if I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to come. So we need to improve that.
I think it's important to remember there's no alarm system that goes off in the city to announce this. You just go to the box.
Correct. There is no alarm. We do have a big siren on top of the firehouse. Yes, it drives the neighbors around the firehouse nuts, and those a couple of miles away can't hear it. So we are getting a new firehouse, and I understand we're going to get a new tower. So hopefully that'll happen. You have another question?
Well, I can't normally attend meetings on Thursday because I have a special needs meeting that I have to go to every person.
Well, I'm sure glad you're here tonight.
That's because it's spring break.
Oh, okay. Well, we have to work around how the city uses this particular facility. And right now, this is the night we've been given. And we're trying to record these. They're being recorded right now. It will be up on the city website under emergency preparedness. So look there if you miss a meeting. Any other questions? I see a whole bunch.
This meeting on the 16th, or I mean our rehearsal on the 16th, how is that being advertised to the community so that they go to the box?
That's another good question. We've tried to contact the various churches in the community, let them know it's going to happen so they can tell their members. Sometimes they tell them, sometimes they don't. We do it on social media. We do have, the city just bought one of those portable reader boards, yeah. Yeah. So that'll help. But the main thing to do is tell your neighbors. Say, hey, come on, we're doing a little drill tonight at 6 p.m. Come on with me, and you can see how it goes, or learn about it. And maybe we'll have some handouts in the hub box that you can give out to your neighbors to help them better understand what it's all about.
Our neighborhood is divided into 8 different blocks, and each block is approximately 8 homes. If we pull out the red clipboard, do we assume that each of those 8 homes is identified on that clipboard? And are the names of the occupants on that as well?
No, can you imagine the nightmare it'd be for me to keep track of everybody when they moved in and moved out? The address is on there. That's really all we need. But yes, all homes that are on a red clipboard have an address. I even included blocks that are empty. If there's an empty lot or a field or something like that, and you come along, you see an address, and there's an empty space, and then there's another address. If there's a house on that empty block, that empty lot, put the address in, because it may have been built after the last time we updated our maps. Who's next?
It seems to me that it would be really helpful to know if people did not respond. If someone came to the house and they knocked on the door and said, hey, is everybody okay? And there's no response. It seems like it would be great to know that so you can go back later and check that particular address.
Yes, that is very important, because we don't know. Somebody might have passed out. Unfortunately, there's no way to know whether they're home or not. Maybe they're on vacation and they're a snowbird and they're not home at that time. But yeah, we should send out at least 2 more people to check, maybe in a couple hours later to see if or one of their neighbors to go check and see if anybody is able to contact. Anything else?
It's time to thank you, Bill.
One more question.
I want to tell you, earthquakes are really funny. Many years ago, we lost an apartment building in Whittier, about 75% damage. Across the street, the fellow lost a coffee cup.
So don't give
Yes.
up when you're out looking and you may find people that should be.
I got one last question that is not here, but
Pacific Palisades fire this year in California was a horrible thing to watch even TV. It looked like it was made for TV. Now, do we have pressurized water in each of the hydrants like they did not in a whole lot of their hydrants? And is it from electrical power or is it from gravity?
Okay, I am not an expert to answer that question. I was hoping the fire department would be here. From what I understand,
Bill,
in this,
Bill, I can answer.
You can answer. Go ahead.
It's under gravity and we've got plenty. Yeah, the fire department says we've got plenty of water and it's fed by gravity. All the tanks, they're sort of hidden in the hills. You don't necessarily see them all, but that's where it comes from.
Okay,
The
great.
hydrants are tested frequently. I don't know what the schedule is.
Hopefully we won't get in a situation. A lot of those fires in California are surrounded by forest and a lot of combustible material. And when that happens, even if you have a lot of water, you may not be able to get it
We have
all out.
enough homes close together in this area that it could, similar thing could happen. It's not off. With the wind.
So,
And the wind, yeah.
right, check around your home for anything that can burn and try and clear out an area around your home so there's less likelihood. Yeah,